Welcome to the Freelance Insider Podcast, the podcast where we take a close look under the hood of the freelance world. I'm your host, Al Calder, a freelance writer and audiobook narrator. I'm here to help you with your freelance journey. Whether you're just starting out or looking to ramp up your freelance game, you're in the right place. Hey folks, welcome back to the Freelance Insider Show. So you're ready to ditch the day job. Time to turn that side hustle into the main event. Well, it's a popular topic these days for sure. This whole idea of going freelance, you see it everywhere, from business magazines to just everyday folks sharing their stories online. A lot of people are drawn to this idea of being their own boss, but before you make that leap, we're going to really dig in here and see what it takes to make this transition a success. And I think a great place to start is actually with why you're doing this. It's not just about escaping the 9-to-5. You need a deeper reason than that. I want to really emphasize the importance of clarity, like what makes your side hustle so uniquely fulfilling in a way that your day job just doesn't do for you. Because you could easily say freedom, but what does that really mean? Like, for you, what does that mean? Is it the freedom to set your own hours? Is it the freedom to choose the projects you work on? Or maybe it's about having control over your income potential. Really nailing down those specifics is going to be what fuels you when things inevitably get tough. And trust me, they will get tough. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Freedom often comes with responsibility, especially when it comes to money and finances. I can't stress enough the need for a safety net. There's a reason they say to have at least 6 months of living expenses saved up before you quit your day job. That's a classic piece of advice for a reason. It makes you feel more secure about everything you're doing. It's not just about covering the bills either. It's about having a buffer for those unexpected things that always seem to come up. And remember, we're talking about real living expenses too. Fun money, vacations, even occasional splurges, the whole picture. Horror stories about going bankrupt because you don't have enough savings when your spouse gets laid off. Well, those definitely come to mind. That's scary stuff. Nobody wants to end up in that situation. But it's not just about finances, though. You've also got to consider whether the skills you're using in your side hustle can actually generate the income you need. Can you command the rates that are necessary to support the lifestyle that you want? Because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement, right? And overcharge before you're really ready. Mastering your craft first, well, that's essential. You don't want to damage your reputation right out of the gate. You're just starting out. It takes time to build a sustainable business, and rushing the process can really backfire. So then the question becomes, how do we bridge that gap between honing our skills and actually making a living? Well, that's where branding comes in. It's more than just a logo or a tagline. It's about crafting a brand that resonates with the clients you want to attract. A great article I recently read compared a strong brand to a friend you trust for recommendations, because it is about building that trust and connection with your audience. Your brand is your promise to your clients. It's about consistently delivering value and solving their problems in a way that's unique to you. And in the world of freelancing, you are your brand. Your personality, your values, your expertise, it's all part of the package. In fact, you are the package. Okay, so we've got clarity of purpose. We're thinking about finances. We're honing our skills. We're building a brand that reflects our values. But what about the reality of juggling all of this while still working a full-time job? How do you do that without burning out? Well, that's something that comes up a lot in newbie freelance circles. A lot of people talking about the challenge of balancing a full-time job and their side hustle dreams. It's a delicate dance for sure. If you're not careful, you may start feeling isolated and depressed because your side hustle starts to consume your evenings and your weekends. It can easily take over your life. And there's no time for anything else, right? It's a good reminder that this isn't about glorifying the grind. It's about creating a sustainable life that you actually enjoy. Not one that just drains you. And building a sustainable business also means, tackling those less glamorous aspects. The taxes, the contracts, health insurance, the boring stuff. Freelancing is basically entrepreneurship in disguise, or in this case, solopreneurship if you prefer. So even though you're working solo, you're running a business. And that takes a certain mindset, right? It's a shift from employee to entrepreneur. And that's a huge shift. You're the CEO, the marketer, the accountant, all rolled up into one. There's no manual, just a whole lot of learning on the fly. Just figuring it out as you go. And speaking of figuring things out, we need to learn how to embrace imperfection. It's crucial. You're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. The key is to view them as learning opportunities, not as failures. If you wait till it's perfect, you'll be waiting a really, really long time. So it's more about progress than perfection. It really hits home when you realize that this is about so much more than just quitting your job. It really is. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about taking ownership of your career and your life. It's empowering, but it can also be a little intimidating. And that's something that's often overlooked, the emotional and psychological aspects of this transition. It's not just about logistics and skills. It's a whole new way of thinking and working. One thing that often gets overlooked, as we go deeper into this, is the importance of systems and processes. Having those things in place before you even make that leap. It's easy to get caught up in the creative side of the side hustle. But without those nuts and bolts, things can fall apart really quickly. In a traditional job, you've got entire departments dedicated to things like invoicing, client onboarding, even marketing. When you're freelancing, you become all of those departments. It's a lot to manage. It's like setting up a mini business, even if it's just you running the show for now. So where do you even begin? Well, a good place to start is by treating your side hustle like a full-fledged business from day one. Start by identifying the tasks that eat up your time and see if you can automate them, like email sequences for new clients or scheduling tools that let clients book appointments directly. The more you can automate, the more mental space you free up for the work that actually makes you money. Okay, so we're getting organized. We're streamlining things. Let's shift gears back to the financial side for a sec. How do you know when your side hustle is actually bringing in enough to ditch the steady paycheck? Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? It's one thing to dream about financial freedom, but you got to make sure your dream is actually viable. It's about testing the waters. Don't quit your day job until you've proven that your side hustle can consistently generate income. Ask yourself, are you attracting enough clients? Are you charging a rate that aligns with your financial goals? So it's not necessarily about hitting a specific income target. It's more about seeing a pattern of consistent growth. You want to see that upward trend. You want to see that your business is building momentum. A good target is to aim to replace at least 75% of your current salary with your side hustle income before you take that leap. Combine that with your 6 months of savings, and it gives you a little bit of a cushion, a little breathing room as you're figuring things out. Now, as you're testing the waters, pay attention to what you enjoy about your side hustle too. What aspects of this work really bring you energy and fulfillment? What drains you? It's about more than just money. It's about aligning your work with your values and your lifestyle. There's no point in escaping the 9 to 5 only to create a different kind of grind for yourself. Nobody wants that. Freelancing offers flexibility, but it also demands self-motivation and a lot of discipline. Also, remember this journey is not the same for anyone, ever. Everyone's playbook is going to look a little different. It's easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, especially in the age of social media. But as you navigate this process, stay true to your own values and your own goals. Don't try to force yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. Find what works for you. And I think that leads into the next point, which is that mental and emotional shift that comes with being your own boss. That's a big one. You're not just an employee following instructions anymore. You're calling the shots. It's exciting, but it's also kind of terrifying. How do you even prepare for that? Well, start with small steps while you're still in your 9 to 5. Practice making decisions, setting priorities, holding yourself accountable. It's like building up your CEO muscles. And remember, resilience is key. There are going to be setbacks, moments of doubt, maybe even a full-blown freakout from time to time. It's all about the process. But knowing those challenges are coming and having strategies in place to cope can make a world of difference. A mentor or a business coach is one option, but it could also be a mastermind group, a network of fellow freelancers, or even just a trusted friend who gets it, someone who understands what you're going through. Having people to bounce ideas off of, celebrate wins with, offer encouragement when you're feeling down, well, that's invaluable. Maybe even consider Reddit threads. They can almost be like a virtual support group. You'll find so many people struggling with those same questions and fears that you are. It normalizes the challenges for you, validates what you're going through. It really is comforting knowing you're not alone. So as we wrap up this part of our look under the hood, consider this. There are a large number of people who go back to traditional jobs after trying to make it on their own as a freelancer. There's no shame in that. It's just a reminder that this path isn't for everyone. And sometimes, even with the best preparation, things don't work out as planned, and that's okay. It really is. Freelancing might just not be the right fit, or you may miss the structure of the 9 to 5, the camaraderie. It's about finding what works for you, even if it means changing course along the way. And who knows, maybe you'll try freelancing for a while, learn a ton of things, valuable skills, and then decide to go back to a traditional job with a whole new perspective. It's all part of the journey. So before we move to the last part of this look under the hood, we haven't really talked about marketing yet. Once you've laid the groundwork for your business, how do you actually attract clients? That's where things can really get fun. It's all about creativity, experimentation, figuring out what resonates with your ideal client. There are lots of things you can experiment with. Things such as crafting a compelling elevator pitch to building a strong online presence. Maybe start by just talking to everyone you meet about your side hustle. I mean, you never know where that next client's going to come from. So it's like planting seeds everywhere you go. But it's not just about getting your name out there, right? It's about showcasing your expertise and building trust. And in today's world, your online presence is often your first impression. Think of it as your digital storefront. Make sure your website, your social media profiles, your portfolio, they all highlight your best work. It's got to look good, and it's got to communicate the value that you offer. It's about building a brand that reflects you and your expertise. Then, strategically using those online platforms to connect with potential clients. And don't be afraid to experiment with different approaches. Try out various social media platforms, content formats, networking strategies. See what works. See what sticks. It's about finding what works for you and your business. There's a lot of trial and error involved, granted, but there's also a lot of room for creativity and fun too. It's about finding out what lights you up and letting that passion shine through. We've covered a lot of ground here. Clarity, finances, skills, branding systems, testing the waters, mindset, even marketing. It's a lot. You no doubt see that turning a side hustle into a full-time gig, it's a multifaceted journey. It takes planning and careful execution. But beyond these practical steps, what's the most important ingredient for success? I'd say it's that unwavering belief in yourself and your vision. You're going to face challenges. You're going to experience setbacks. You're going to have moments where you question everything. But if you can tap into that inner drive, that passion that fueled your side hustle in the first place, you can overcome anything. It's about trusting your gut and betting on yourself, even when things get tough. Remember, you're not just leaping into the unknown. You're leaping in with a parachute made of all the skills and knowledge and support systems we've been talking about so far. That's a powerful image. And it's important to remember that success doesn't always look the same. What matters most is that you're creating a work life that aligns with your values, your goals, and your definition of fulfillment. It's amazing to me how many different paths people take to turn their side hustles into their main gig. There's no one-size-fits-all formula, and I think that's one of the most encouraging takeaways I can offer you today. Your journey is unique. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. It's about finding your own way, your own rhythm, your own path that aligns with who you are, your values, your skills, and your vision. This won't happen overnight. It's going to take time. Also, keep in mind, sometimes it's not enough just to be passionate about something. You got to be good at it too. That takes time and practice. Build a strong online presence. That's essential these days. In today's world, your website, your LinkedIn, your social media, it all adds up. It all contributes to your brand. It's how you connect with people. It's how you showcase your expertise. And as you start landing more clients and gaining momentum due to the brand growth, you may find that you're actually losing money by staying in your day job. The opportunity cost becomes too high. That's when you know it's time to make the leap. There are so many stories out there of people who have experienced something similar. People who have left their full-time job to pursue a side hustle, and their business just takes off. Some hit six figures within a year. This transition can work across different fields and industries. There are so many intangibles, but focus and dedication play a huge role. But what about the challenges? What are some lessons we can learn from those that have already made the transition? For one, you have to realize that working vacations aren't really vacations. It's easy to blur those boundaries when you're working for yourself, especially when you love what you do. But even as a solopreneur, you should not be checking emails, taking calls, even doing small work tasks when you're supposed to be relaxing. Yes, it's hard to switch off. It is. It's a constant battle to create those boundaries between work and life, especially when your office is wherever your laptop is. Another important lesson, business growth isn't always a straight line. There will be some slow months, maybe even a few that are slower than in your pre-freelance days. It can be scary when that happens, but you just have to realize it's normal. Don't panic. It's part of the journey. Just got to ride the waves. Stay focused on the long game. And perhaps the most important lesson, it's this. Your well-being is a business asset. You know, it's easy to burn out when you're passionate about your work, especially in the beginning when you're hustling. But you'll quickly realize that neglecting your physical and mental health is actually hurting your business. You can't pour from an empty cup. You got to take care of yourself to show up as your best self. And that brings us back to something that comes up a lot in freelance circles, the importance of honesty. Being honest with yourself and self-awareness. Freelancing isn't for everyone. It takes discipline, resilience, a comfort with uncertainty. Some people even say they feel more chained as a freelancer than they did in their 9-to-5. It's all about knowing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you really want. There's no right or wrong answer, just different paths leading to different destinations. So as we wrap up this look under the hood into side hustles and full-time dreams, I think the big takeaway here is there's no magic formula. Nope, it's a personal journey with its own unique challenges and rewards. And it takes a lot of soul searching, planning, hard work. But as we've seen time and time again, it is possible. For those who are willing to take the leap, it can be incredibly fulfilling. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to make this dream happen? And what are your non-negotiables? What do you need to build into this new life to make it sustainable? You're not just building a business, you're building a life you love. Well, that's it. I've given you a roadmap, but only you can decide if this path is right for you. Thanks for joining me today, and good luck on your journey. Thanks for tuning in to the Freelance Insider Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It helps more freelancers like you find the show. Got questions or topics you want covered? Reach out to me at remoteofficeworld.com. You can also find the link in the show description. Until next time, keep on freelancing your way to freedom.